The Young and the Restless spoilers shock Friday full episodes May 2nd, 2025 Chelsea's tough choices and the dynamics of business and loyalty as Chelsea finds herself at a crossroads. Her decision to reach out to Lauren for advice about her next steps is a sign of how much she values the older woman's wisdom and experience. Both professional and personal stakes are at play, and Chelsea's inner turmoil is about to come to a head. She arranges to meet Lauren at Crimson Lights to discuss what might be the biggest decision of her career. Adam Newman, ever the perceptive businessman, is quick to notice that Chelsea is seeking counsel elsewhere. When Chelsea mentions her meeting with Lauren, Adam's immediate response is one of skepticism and curiosity. He wonders if Chelsea is turning to Lauren for advice on whether to accept his offer to join Newman Media. As Chelsea makes her way to the meeting, Adam's doubts linger. After all, he's invested a great deal in Chelsea and their potential collaboration. He hopes that she will accept his offer, but he can't shake the feeling that something might be holding her back. Lauren's arrival, the weight of the decision. When Lauren finally arrives at Crimson Lights, Chelsea is already there, looking pensive and a little uneasy. It's clear from the moment they sit down that Chelsea is still uncertain about her decision, but she knows that she needs to speak openly about what's weighing on her mind. Chelsea admits that she has received an offer to join Newman Media, which would mean leaving Marchetti behind. "I'm thinking about what this move could mean for me," Chelsea says, her voice filled with both excitement and hesitation. "But there's a huge part of me that worries about leaving everything I've worked so hard for at Marchetti." She hesitates for a moment before adding, "And there's also the issue of how this would affect Summer. I can't just leave her high and dry." Lauren nods understandingly. She knows how much Chelsea values the relationships she's built at Marchetti, and the emotional cost of walking away is not lost on her. "Have you spoken to Summer about this?" Lauren asks gently, but with a knowing look. Chelsea shakes her head. "Not yet," she admits. "I haven't even made up my mind about the offer. I'm still processing everything. But I need to know if Sally could potentially step into my role." "Do you think she could take over as creative director for Marchetti Z?" Lauren's brow furrows as she thinks about Chelsea's question. "Sally has the talent, that's for sure," Lauren says thoughtfully. "But running Marchetti Z is a big job, and it would be a huge responsibility. I think Sally could do it, but she'd be under a lot of pressure." "Have you talked to her about it?" Chelsea sighs deeply, feeling the weight of the decision pressing on her. "I haven't spoken to her yet. I don't know if I should, especially when I'm not even sure what I want myself. It feels awkward, and I don't want to make it harder for her." Lauren looks at Chelsea with a steady gaze, offering her perspective. "I think you need to talk to Sally. You've both worked together for a long time, and she deserves to know what's going on. It's better to be upfront than to leave her in the dark. If she's going to step up, she needs to know what the future could look like." The COO role, a huge opportunity, but a big risk as the conversation continues. Chelsea shares more about Adam's offer to make her the COO of Newman Media. "It's a huge opportunity, but it's also a massive commitment," Chelsea admits. "Adam's been talking about us working together closely. He thinks we could really make something great of Newman Media." Lauren's response is thoughtful. "That's a big job, Chelsea," she says, her tone cautious but supportive. "You'd be working with Adam directly, and you'd be in charge of a lot of the company's strategy and operations. It's a lot to take on, especially considering everything that's going on at Marchetti." Chelsea nods, feeling the weight of Lauren's words. "I know it's a lot. But Adam believes in me, and I've been wanting to take that next step. I want to be challenged. I don't know if I'm ready to leave Marchetti behind." Lauren smiles softly, understanding Chelsea's hesitation. "You've worked so hard to get to where you are at Marchetti. It's understandable that you'd be hesitant to walk away from it all. But you also have to think about what's best for you. This could be a huge opportunity to build something new with Adam, but you need to be sure it's what you want." Chelsea takes a deep breath, her uncertainty still lingering. I'm just not sure if I'm ready to completely leave behind everything at Marchetti. But Adam makes a strong case for joining him at Newman Media. And I think we could do some really great things together. Lauren's advice. A conversation with Sally. Lauren encourages Chelsea to have a conversation with Sally before making any final decisions. If you're thinking about moving on, you need to talk to Sally, Lauren advises. And, maybe, after that, you can talk to Summer. But it's important to be transparent with Sally. She deserves to know what's going on. Chelsea is reluctant, fearing how awkward the conversation could be. It feels like it might be uncomfortable, she admits. I don't want to hurt her feelings, but at the same time, I don't want to leave her in a tough spot. Lauren reassures her. You're trying to make this transition as smooth as possible, and that's a good thing. It won't be easy, but if you're honest with Sally and with Summer, they'll understand. You have to follow your instincts and do what's best for you. Chelsea takes a deep breath, still unsure but feeling the weight of Lauren's guidance. I'll talk to Sally. I just need to make sure I know what I want before I have those conversations. Billy's decision. The fallout at Marchetti. Meanwhile, at GCAC, Billy Abbott has made a difficult decision of his own. After firing Phyllis Summers, he now faces the fallout from his actions. Sally is clearly upset with him, though Billy doesn't blame her for it. He knows that firing Phyllis was a tough call, but it was necessary for the sake of the business. I've already told you, Sally, Billy says, his tone apologetic yet firm. It was a hard decision, but Phyllis had to go. Now, I'm looking for someone else to step in and take over. Sally's response is measured, but there's no hiding the tension in the air. You said we could make a great team, Billy, she replies. But now you're firing someone I thought was a close ally of mine. What happens next? What's the plan for moving forward? Billy's eyes meet hers, and there's a flicker of realization. The plan is to rebuild. We're going to build something better, with the right people. But it's going to take time. Sally nods, clearly still grappling with the uncertainty. I hope that's true, she says softly. I hope we can still build something good together. The path forward, choices, consequences, and moving on for Chelsea, Sally, and Billy, the road ahead is filled with uncertainty. Each of them is faced with tough choices, whether it's moving to Newman Media, stepping into new roles at Marchetti, or dealing with the fallout from difficult decisions. The conversations they'll have with each other and the people they care about will ultimately shape their futures, and how they navigate these challenges will determine their success or failure in both their personal and professional lives. One thing is clear. The stakes are higher than ever, and the decisions they make now will have a lasting impact on their careers, relationships, and the future of Marchetti and Newman Media. Sally, Billy, and the future of Abbott Communications. In the aftermath of a tense conversation between Billy and Sally, the future of Abbott Communications begins to take shape. Sally, ever the ambitious and creative force, can't help but feel drawn to the idea of taking on a larger role in the company. Despite her complicated past with Billy, she has always admired his leadership and ability to rebuild businesses. Sally's thoughts turn to Audra, who has been making waves in her own way. Du ongi giv Audra, Sally says, continuing their conversation. Ko I nak tuano den vik zay dung mot don engip tu kon so kong Thursday 6 nu the now. She can't help but feel the excitement and potential in starting something new, even though she has reservations about her working relationship with Audra. Billy, however, remains elusive in his responses, always playing his cards close to his chest. He knows that Sally has potential, but he's also aware of the delicate balance between ambition and the pressures of running a business. Toi se luan tun trong ban nong va su sang tau quan, Billy responds vaguely. He wants to build something great together, but he's not ready to fully commit to a clear plan yet. The conversation between them is one of those moments where Sally is left wondering what role she will play at Abbott Communications, but for now, she knows that patience is required. She's ready for a new challenge, but the path forward remains unclear. Cole's health crisis. A growing concern at the same time, another crisis is quietly unfolding, one that is becoming more urgent with every passing moment. Victoria is spending time with Cole at the stables, trying to keep the mood light, but her concern for his health is palpable. Cole has been struggling with a persistent cough for days, but he brushes it off, insisting that it's nothing serious, just a cold from his recent flight. As Cole continues to cough, Victoria grows increasingly worried. "Ne ko vete lam," she says, her voice laced with concern. "On non quoi," she adds, placing her hand on his forehead to check his temperature. Cole, ever the stubborn one, refuses to acknowledge how bad it really is. "Toi on," he insists, though his voice falters slightly, betraying the discomfort he feels. "Chi la cam lan kai di mai bay." But Victoria is not convinced. She can see how flushed and worn out he looks, and she's not about to let him ignore the symptoms. "I that su gion tuk su kan di cam bacsa," she tells him, a note of concern in her voice. Cole shakes his head, refusing to admit the gravity of the situation. Instead, he pushes back, "Toi kong kan bacsi, toi chi met mot chut." Victoria, unwilling to let him suffer in silence, insists on helping him feel better. She prepares tea and brings him pain relievers in an attempt to ease his symptoms. But as she watches him lie down on the couch, slipping into a restless sleep, she's still unsure whether his simple cold is something more serious. Claire's concern: Cole's health takes a turn for the worse later. Clare arrives at the stables, eager to spend time with Cole but immediately sensing that something is off. She sees him on the couch, looking pale and feverish, and she rushes over to him. "Truoc de tang bi ko vete the nai kong?" She asks Victoria, her voice filled with concern. Seeing Cole in such a state only heightens her anxiety. Victoria looks at Cole, who is still too weak to argue. She places a comforting hand on his shoulder and says, "De kong chi la kamlan." Her worry deepens as she adds, "On I can nu han mot tach tra." Cole, too tired to put up a fight, admits with a heavy sigh, "Con tuk su kan fi di cam bacsi." The weight of his words is undeniable, and Claire's heart sinks as she realizes just how serious this could be. Cole's admission shakes everyone in the room. The idea that something so simple as a cold could have escalated to a potentially more severe illness is a reality that hits hard. Victoria's face is filled with both concern and guilt. She should have insisted on him seeing a doctor sooner, but now it might be too late. Clare, ever the protector, is ready to take action. "We need to get him to a doctor now," she insists, her voice firm as she prepares to take charge of the situation. Her protective instincts are on high alert, and she can't bear to see Cole so sick. She knows that if they don't act quickly, this could spiral out of control. The uncertainty of Cole's future as the group begins to make plans to take Cole to the doctor, everyone is left wondering just how serious his condition is. Cole's reluctance to seek medical help sooner could have put him in a vulnerable position. The uncertainty surrounding his illness, combined with the stress of everything going on in his life, leaves him in a fragile state. Victoria and Clare, despite their differences, are united in their determination to get Cole the care he needs. What remains unclear is whether Cole's illness is something manageable, or whether it's the beginning of a more serious health crisis. And if it turns out to be something more severe, how will it impact Victoria and Cole's already complicated relationship? As they prepare to take Cole to the doctor, there's a sense of urgency in the air, and a quiet fear that something more serious might be at play. In this moment, Cole's health takes precedence, and everyone involved must confront the reality that things are not as simple as they first seemed. The tension, emotions, and uncertainty surrounding Cole's condition will certainly leave a lasting impact on all involved, and could set the stage for major changes ahead. The road ahead for Cole, Victoria, and Clare is fraught with danger, but together, they must navigate this crisis, hoping that it's not too late to get the help he needs. When Victor Newman hears that Clare and Kyle have made the decision to live together, his rage is nothing short of volcanic. The news sends shockwaves through the family, and as always, Victor's response is intense and unforgiving. His belief that family should adhere to his rules and expectations has long been a central theme in his life, and now that Clare, his daughter, has made a decision he disapproves of, Victor is ready to unleash his fury. Victor's explosive reaction is to be expected. He has always wanted to control his children's choices, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. Kyle Abbott, in Victor's eyes, is a poor choice for Clare, too close to the Abbott family, too much of a wild card. Victor sees this living situation as a direct challenge to his authority and his control over Clare's life. He believes she is making a mistake and that Kyle is the wrong person for her. But are Clare and Kyle ready for the storm that Victor is about to bring down on them? They have been defying him for a while now, but this could be the tipping point. Victor's venom is hard to withstand, and the emotional toll his anger could have on their relationship remains to be seen. Clare may be used to Victor's wrath, but it's clear that this time, the stakes are higher than ever. They are about to feel the full force of his opposition, and they will need to decide if they can weather this storm or if it will break them. Victoria and Cole. The strain of health and family tensions elsewhere in Genoa City, Victoria Newman is caught in a delicate situation with her former husband, Cole Howard. Cole, who recently returned from Europe, has been struggling with a persistent cough, and Victoria's concern for his health is starting to grow. His continued illness, combined with his refusal to seek medical help, leaves Victoria in a difficult position. She knows Cole needs to see a doctor, but he continues to downplay his condition, brushing it off as just a simple cold from the flight. Despite his assurances, Victoria can tell that something is wrong. She's seen the signs before. This isn't just a typical illness. The cough is lingering, and the fatigue is too much for him to ignore. Victoria knows that Cole may need more than just basic treatment. He could be facing something more serious that requires specialized care. Victoria's growing worry reflects the deeper emotional complexity of their relationship. Though they've been through their ups and downs, and though Victoria has moved on in many ways, her concern for Cole's well-being speaks to a deep-rooted care that hasn't disappeared. But beyond her personal feelings, Victoria is faced with the practical reality that Cole's health could interfere with his ability to be there for Clare and their family. Cole's tough decision. Love, family, and Victor's influence. In addition to his health, Cole is also confronted with a difficult choice regarding his daughter, Clare. As a father, Cole wants nothing more than for Clare to be happy, but he is torn between supporting her independence and worrying about the consequences of her living situation with Kyle. The complications of the Abbott family and the deep-seated animosity with Victor only add to the tension. As Cole watches the situation unfold with Clare and Kyle, he finds himself caught in the middle. He wants Clare to be happy, but he's also acutely aware of the difficulties that could arise from her living with Kyle, especially when it comes to Victor. The rift between Kyle and Victor is undeniable, and Cole knows that if he supports Clare's decision, it could put him at odds with Victor, one of the most dangerous enemies to have. But Cole also knows that Victor's influence over Clare has limits. He has watched his daughter struggle with her independence, constantly under the shadow of her father's expectations. Now that Clare is making her own decisions, Cole feels it's important to support her, regardless of what Victor thinks. The conflict comes to a head when Cole faces the reality that, as a father, he may have to stand up to Victor, and possibly even Kyle, to protect Clare's happiness. While Cole may not have the power Victor wields, he knows that his support of Clare is crucial. But can he push back against Victor without losing everything he has worked for? Cole versus Victor, a battle of fathers. Cole has long been under the influence of Victor, but now, as Clare steps into her own, Cole is beginning to realize that he cannot remain passive. Victor's stronghold over the family is formidable, but if Cole truly wants to support Clare, he must be ready to face the fallout that comes with opposing Victor. The dynamics between father and daughter are about to shift, and Cole's role in Clare's life is more important than ever. But how far is he willing to go to stand by her side, especially when it could mean standing up to Victor, one of the most powerful men in Genoa City? This could be the moment where Cole steps out of Victor's shadow and asserts his own authority as a father. But whether or not he can truly win this battle remains to be seen. The growing strain of Cole's illness as the tension builds between Cole and Victor, another layer of drama is unfolding: Cole's health. Despite his reluctance to seek medical care, it becomes increasingly clear that something is wrong. The simple cold he claimed to have is starting to take a more serious toll on his body. As Victoria insists that he get checked by a doctor, it's apparent that Cole is not as invincible as he once seemed. Victoria's concern grows more intense with each passing day. She knows that if Cole doesn't get help soon, things could take a turn for the worse. Could this illness be a larger threat than anyone expected? The lingering cough and fever are signs that Cole might be facing something more severe, and with his resistance to seek treatment, the situation is becoming more dire by the minute. The uncertainty of Clare and Cole's future as Cole grapples with his health, his role as a father, and the growing tension between Victor and the rest of the family, Clare is left to navigate the complex landscape of her own choices.